Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to control. Let's continue. So, we're supposed to be working our way to the communications department. We're slowly revealing where everything is on this floor. Theoretically, there's an underground of 4 floors, so the building's going to have to shift. The oldest house will have to shift quite a lot. To the right of the cafeteria on the map is an area we definitely can't access until probably we've cleared the rest of this floor, and I imagine that's probably where the hotline phone is. I guess that would make a decent amount of sense. It seems like what we're going to do is we're going to consistently be asked to just ignore these creepy people. I feel like this game probably suffers from some E3-ness of it. Like, Control was shown off at E3 for the past couple of years, and it seems like the concept of possessed floating people makes kind of sense as a demo, and then one would say less sense as a video game, since they really don't do anything. These are just nail things, so they won't explode or anything. So yeah, unless they were health fodder, and they're not even that. Like, I've never even seen them drop health, and bullets aren't necessary, so here we've got somebody who's in charge of the comms department. And somebody just got something thrown at them from pneumatics. And he was wearing a vest. And over here we've got the hiss, which I don't think, it will scare me, but didn't hurt me, which is fair enough. Over here we've got these shelters, which are very video gamey. When I walk in here, I'm not sure the game saves when you walk or if the game saves when you shut the door. But the shelters are extremely repetitive. Almost certainly what I would guess, if I was the producer of this game, is I would want to push for a completely different art style. See, it did save, it just took it a while after I closed and walked out of the shelter.
Object of power. Looks like the hiss have latched onto it. We need to cleanse it.
Crouch with the right stick. Alright, so we are like a couple of hours into the game, and now it's just letting me crouch. I'm about to die, and this is like a boss fight. Unfortunately, I think this is kind of how all the boss fights are, though, is this exact, like, orbs. It doesn't seem like I'm even hitting something. Now, if I was ever going to get health out of one of those boxes, that would have been the time. I'm totally about to die. Yeah, I would have pushed for a secondary art style at the very least to balance out, yeah, to balance out the brutalist art style. So just a whole secondary skin palette, something like that. Yeah, I'm not really hurting it. And we're getting a lot of ray tracing light effects that like this might be the floppy disk drive that we talked about earlier. Might be why it's telekinetic. It's shooting things at me. But you really can't. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to just run towards it. Just run towards it and press X. There was no way to disable it or stop it in any way. That's weird.
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in Bureau Seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
It seems like you're the director. So right bump and then throw. That was just a reflection. Okay. So we might start to see a little bit more fight, a little bit easier fighting now. You get that little white highlight. So we're getting a little bit of key gameplay now. I'm glad to see a lot more gameplay. Now, questionably, I don't really know. Like, I'm seeing a lot of reflections here in this white skybox, for lack of a better. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's a white skybox. I'm seeing a lot of reflections on this texture alone, and ray tracing may be improving that a lot, but I really have to question whether it's worth it. And let's face it, ray tracing is only going to work on games that are designed to really implement it. And most games will barely implement it, if they implement it a lot at all. And of course it has to be a DirectX 12 game. I don't think that any game is going to bother to try and implement ray tracing outside of DirectX 12. And you might just be better off using DirectX 12 for other reasons. This is kind of faster, and I have to assume we just always get these subtitles. Even if subtitles were turned off. I guess maybe we could go into the option and turn off subtitles and see what that does. Let's see. Trying to look to see if there would be anything that would make it easier to read text. Right, let's turn off subtitles. Resume the game. Yeah, it might be a little bit easier just to pick up and throw things than to do this, to shoot them. But then we may start finding that the real enemies that we usually end up fighting have way more health again.
There you are. You were gone. Cut off. I got it. Just like you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
Right, so the room didn't really change, it's just full of enemies. Let's turn the subtitles back on. It seems like the way this breaks down is this guy coming? That exploded too well. That exploded way too well. So it makes a lot more sense why things can fall and break now, since it's pretty obvious every item in this game is designed to be an item to pick up and throw. I will just have to be cautious on, am I going to explode something in my own face? We'll have to do some more experimentation about fall damage to see if there's ever any fall damage you get, or could I have just jumped over the edges? Yeah, and my health mod seems to be changing things for the better. So when I do pick up health here. Cool. Fire extinguishers do explode, but they do not explode into smoke or fire extinguisher liquid. Yeah, I don't know why that guy was running towards the shelter. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mailroom.
Did she? It's been a while. I don't remember that. The hiss sounds like it's a distorted potential, just the building itself doing building announcements. we're still running into a lot of situations where we run into these offices, but it does feel like they are starting to stop. Yeah. The hiss is coming through the speakers. We're having a little bit of a problem finding the next area. And you have these doors that are just sealed off completely, which I assume we'll get into those areas later. Well, here's the first dark bathroom. So I can't even see what's in here. So dark. I'm supposed to go this way to purify, I guess. But in this instance, I don't know if I even did anything.
This must open the door.
Clearance card level 1. Right, so is this where we're going? Are we just following the blood, or is there something else that we can look at or we can go to? Because I kind of want to be a little thorough. Like, it's not my intention to just somebody apparently decided they were actually going to use that toilet. We can just rip that off the wall. Yeah. Still no reason why I'm turning on radios or why those radios are in the game.
You're listening to America Overnight, mystifying the airwaves for more than 29 years. Thank you for staying up with us.
Now I have clearance level 1 again. I think America Overnight might be the part of the American Nightmare spin-off sequel game to that Remedy made. I know I played the first game and didn't really enjoy it enough to want to play the American Nightmare sequel, even though I own it and probably will get around to it maybe at some point. I don't even know if I actually would get around to playing that one. Actually, it was really grindy with the flashlights. You had to hold a flashlight on monsters before you could shoot them and kill them. It was a bad gameplay mechanic, to say the least. Alright.
They can fly now. Great.
So the idea, as I'm dying here, of this game, I think, is that we will eventually get the ability to fly. We will eventually run into a lot of firefights where we fly. We saw this at E3 things, and again, I feel like this game sold itself and promoted itself oddly as this this technology groundbreaking concept that it really couldn't have ever been. Like there isn't going to be, I'm not going to say never, but there in the next few in the next few years, there's not going to be a case where you can make a game that is focused around flying and that actually is going to work well. Like, shooting doesn't seem to work. Throwing things barely seems to work. So again, during the E3 demos and trailers, and not even really demos, trailers, when we saw flying around enemies, that's something that certainly got a lot of people hyped, including the mainstream video game media, who get overhyped way too easily. When reality, it should have been a huge warning flag to say, unless this is just some kind of cutscene or something that people aren't really going to be able to do what's being shown. The game is going to waste a ton of their development trying to get smooth flying ability. Like, take note that the Unreal Engine is incredibly good and about being a first-person shooter game. Like, most people who can properly program in the Unreal Engine have that down pat. Like, no duh, they should be able to make a first-person shooter where you are standing on the ground and shooting enemies. There's been way less successful development on flying around enemies. Not even simplistic things like birds. Even if you compare like hunting in a Tomb Raider game where you're hunting deer or bear or something, like way more development has happened in games to hunt land animals than flying animals. Furthering that complication is any game that tries to have you be a bird and fly around, whether it's an Unreal Engine game or not, or a Unity game. That never really works as smoothly as you'd like it to. It's not until you have somebody like the Nintendo, like if Nintendo spends the extra money to so I am doing damage to him. I just recognized that we actually had a health bar. Seems like when I ran upward, this is just awful. Like, let's just look at the options. Is there a gameplay difficulty here to change? It never asked for any difficulty. Yeah. Like, we have a ton of health. He seems to move out of the way very quickly. And then he seems to hit so hard, so incredibly hard, that I'm dead in 3 or 4 shots. And see, this is one of the things I've heard complaints about. Let's see. When your health is low, use defensive tactics, press L to sprint. Alright. Why am I not always in sprint mode? Mods. Projectors fired. Reload speed 11%. Or... yeah, I don't have shatter, so I can't even use that. Launch energy cost 8% reduction. Like, am I running out of launch energy? I don't even know how much launch energy I'm using. And then we've got a bunch of collectibles. Certainly, like, would any of these potentially give me any information? I don't think so. Willow AWE outcome. They're talking specifically about the Willow AWE event. I don't know if that is supposed to be the event that my brother was kidnapped in.
And they can fly now. Great.
There are definitely some things I'm running into. Like, I'm running out of energy. Different things that seem like they would do more damage than others. Like, I can't even lock onto this guy because I'm running around in circles so much. Man, this is frustrating. Pay attention to surroundings. You will sustain lethal damage if you fall too far. Okay. So yeah, I do know if you fall really, really far, you'll die. That's not atypical in the game. I guess we'll try this other mod and reduce the cost of throwing things. And there's like no way to skip this cutscene, so we're seeing it for the 20th time.
They can fly now. Great.
And you don't go back into your crouching at all. So you have to hit the right bump over and over again to hide. It doesn't seem like this guy will do anything to you until you start throwing things at him. These guys are getting relatively close to me. It seems ridiculous that this is the way to win after we just got the telekinesis ability, is to just take it long and slow. And this piece of equipment seems to block any chance of them actually hitting you. So yeah, you just duck when he's about to attack. This is more strategy than I expected or wanted so far in the game.
I have a feeling he'll be back.
And then there's a whole bunch
Let's
of health.
stay focused. The hotline should be past the mailroom.
Well, that was incredibly unsatisfactory. I mean, you really can't say anything else besides that. That really, really sucked. And I feel the need to try and run around here, but frankly, if I am going to try and get all the collectibles, the game is going to have to give me some kind of indicator eventually that where collectibles are hidden. Because running around this area is not helpful, even if we go into full sprint mode. This is not an efficient. Let's see, what clearance is this? Well, we can go that way. Does that mean we should go that way? Hotline chamber. So we probably should put back the health recovery mod for the moment.
Alberto Tomasi, head of comms. The hiss got him.
So he's a boss character?
Alright, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff at the U.S. Embassy in Havana was caused by sonic weaponry in the hands of a foreign power. Numerous personnel have damage to the inner ear, but most are expected to make a full recovery. Of course, the event also damaged their cellular walls, but we can't blame that on some stupid noise gun. Thank God no local doctors examined them first. Honestly, what are the odds an altered item would show up inside a U.S. embassy? Talk about good luck, huh? So much easier to... Hey, are you still recording this?
So, comms is just the pneumatic tubes getting routed. Nothing more than that. And then they're referencing the U.S. embassy attack that happened, I suppose, around the time this game was being developed, but I think most people would
The hotline can't be far now.
kind of forget that even happened because there was really no resolution on it. One assumes that some foreign power, my guess would be Russia, China, or like some Middle Eastern country, attacked them. It would have been weird, certainly if it was Cuba attacking the U.S. embassy as former President Obama was trying to normalize relationships with Cuba. But I wouldn't put it past anybody, frankly. Interesting how the texture popped in. So I'm kind of happy to say that the hotline ringing has not been a noise that's been played over and over again, but the hiss kind of has been this noise that's been playing over and over again. It really does feel like there's some budgeting issues here. Let's just walk around here. Interesting, it doesn't set off the alarm on this. I'm holding a gun and still doesn't set off the alarm. Yeah, feels like there should be some walk and talk dialogue happening right now instead of the 20 pieces of text.
Casino. Dream logic. The light switch cord.
Hotline is designated for director. Disregarding this possibly may result in, what was it? Fatal psychic trauma? So, I had complained a little bit about the game in its brutalistic architecture. Really? Seriously, you're just gonna let me die like that? Was not expecting that. Like, I had said that you definitely needed to push like a secondary art style and texture style. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me I have to go fight that guy all over again. Well, the good news is it doesn't seem like I have to fight the guys all over again. The bad news is there is somebody shooting a rocket launcher at me. Why would it not have saved? It seems to save all the pickups nicely. It just didn't seem to want to save that scene, which was supposed to be cool and impressive. I don't get how you dropped the ball like this. I don't get how you didn't say, oh. Still looks like you would fall. It says stand here.
Have we been here before? No. I've stayed at a lot of roadside motels across the country, on the road, on the run, under the radar. This feels like all of them, like something recognized from a dream.
So, yeah, we're getting a slightly different artistic style with some symbols on each of the door. We can try the triangle control symbol. This is a little bit different and a little bit better than the brutalist architecture, but you'd almost want something bright and colorful to counteract what we've seen in the game, and I definitely would have wanted to see a switch in architecture style earlier. It would have made so much sense to go through a few hallways that felt like this, where you were in a carpeted area and the doors just kind of looked like this, and it would just convert and smoothly transition into something very different looking. You know, you have a 222, 242, 227, 225. These seem to be just normal doors, although they are in the 200s, which would assume then that they are on the second floor, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hello? Anyone here?
Well, I heard something unlock. Again, Twin Peaks feeling style game. Like, clearly this is a Twin Peaks reference. So one ring opened a door. And so maybe there's a bit of a puzzle here that we have to do with the number of rings. Yeah, it is switching doors.
key has a black pyramid on it.
So if we hit another one, well, it just recycles and resets. So it never unlocks this door or these doors, which clearly they wouldn't want to just reflect the image and have to have you see 6 of the exact same rooms. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for the rooms on the other side to be open to the outside with windows. So we have the director and apparently me standing right in front of a platform to the hotline. Feels like I'm not standing in the right place. Or is there something else I'm supposed to do? Or is this just do things in threes? Yeah, it does seem like they're just forcing me to do things in threes for no reason. A pyramid can have 3 sides, so there might be some code in that. Of course, it could also have 4 sides. So we're supposed to pick this up and I think carry with us. Directors can call the board using the hotline. So from the perspective of the board, there's some level of technology that makes sense to them. Hotline will let you contact the extra-dimensional entities. Frankly, the extra-dimensionality of it all really just means it's magic. Oh, seriously? At least that didn't kill me. I don't get these cheap shots though. I really don't get why you would make it so it seems like I'm going to just be able to jump down, and in actuality I have to. Alright. So there goes my health. I didn't realize that was an enemy. I thought that was the extra-dimensional entities. Yeah, that's also doing nothing to me. Alright, so I guess the idea was to jump on the platform and get it to chase you around. And do little jumping jacks here. Or hurdles, I guess would be what the right word. Sure sucks when you've got this redness around you and you're dying. Particularly in a scene like this. Wish you could just stand still and heal up a little bit, just even to a minimal amount. That would have been helpful in the previous fight. It would be definitely helpful right now. You have to call once a week.
It is a phone. It's an object of power. It doesn't connect to any typical network. A direct line to the astral plane and the board.
Again, a live action
and my hypothesis
video.
Is, under the right conditions, to other planes of existence as well.
A director needs a team. My management team. These people know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. Darling.
Now, I've heard
Tomasi, Salvador,
argument that this
Marshall.
cutscene that we're seeing right now
Marshall
gets played
especially,
over and
my
over
head of
again.
operations. She sees right through me. She knows I don't like relying on people. The only person you should fail is yourself. But things change when you become director.
So, is the game going to start back in the director's office?
I have it. The hotline. I can reach Trench. Well, listen to him. He feels more like an echo. An echo with important info. I need to get back to Emily.
Again, that cutscene did not match
People
the...
react strongly when I tell them about you. Is it too soon to tell Emily? She might be able to help.
So I think I probably want to change back to the previous outfit, because I don't think this tactical outfit really changes the game in any way that's beneficial. It's just a different skin for no reason. It seems like by touching the hotline, I've unlocked it in several other positions. Now what's interesting is I don't have the red on the side now, so it did do something different there. And yeah, this is a different path. So where are we going? We're going, I guess, back to the boardroom and the director's office. So yeah, it really could have just saved us some time and had us walk into the director's office here. Body's missing, and the hotline is not here. So let's look at the map. Feels like there would be a shortcut at some point to that. And for a second there, I thought you could pick up that coat and put it on. Again, that would be visually a good way of doing things to show that she's growing as a character. Although I don't know really how much that really matters. Let's see. So I recall there is something in here. So we might as well pick those things up. But I don't know if there's anything more. Hey, her jacket has changed. The picture has changed again. Interesting. So turning on and off of that. Yeah, I don't think there's a great reason to try and find every collectible in this game. See, because here's a clearance level 4 item. Well, we're clearly gonna have to come back at some point. I don't even know where I really am. Also, like, I guess that's where we are, is up here. And clearly there were things I missed, or things I didn't bother to look for at all. Another bit of music. Just as if a video game is really going to sell people on buying a soundtrack. Particularly a licensed music soundtrack. I could see if it was a game like Ori and the Blind Forest and Where am I? That would go back to the cafeteria. Although, is that where this really goes? The music just cuts off. Interesting. This looks like there would be something here. But there's nothing in there. Yeah, new original music makes sense, but just picking your favorite playlist doesn't make a lot of sense. And there was a YouTube video out there that specifically talked about how casting or soundtracking movies to famous songs that then they can't afford the licenses to is potentially ruining the composer industry in movies, and I feel like that's what is that called? Reference tracking or reference soundtracking? I feel like they've kind of done the same thing in the video game form here by saying we love these songs, we want these songs in our game. It's part of the same attitude, though. You have to realize that there is definitely an intention here to have the actors that are the main characters, Trench and Jesse. There's an intention there to make them. That's a level 3 security. Does this set off an alarm? Nope. No more of that, I guess. They want to give them as much work as possible, as much money as possible for that work, would be my guess. And because of that, you are seeing kind of a considerably high amount of cutscenes around that idea. Whereas instead of having a camera in front of the actors and actresses, or just actors in general, as they're all going by actors these days for the most part. Yeah, let's go back to civilian. And where could we fast travel, by the way? We have 3 fast travel locations. So we're probably very close to being done with this floor and moving on to the next floor, which at some point I think we have to hit a 50% halfway through the story element where the entire building reconfigures, or there's a lot of good reason to come back to this area, because I can't imagine that I really would want to go through all of cafeteria and all of dead letters and all of communications department and all of executive affairs or the hotline chamber. Like, I don't see a reason why I'd want to go back and do all of that. It's weird that you're in a menu and you can jump. That's definitely the case. So here's a case where the conversations...
Jesse, did you get the hotline? I mean, how is it out there? The comms? The hiss? Sorry. You made it. I'm glad.
So,
Emily?
yeah.
Let's talk. Of course.
That conversation there works a lot better than what we're going to run into here, where we have to go into this mode.
I can make out what Trench is saying now.
And
incredible.
Have a lot more
he talked about his management
resources
team, people who
were
knew the
spent
Bureau's
to animate all of this.
Your boss, darling, Tomasi, but he's gone. He's gone. Salvador?
He's the head of security.
And Marshall?
Helen Marshall is head of operations. She's tough.
We had all of
ex-CIA.
these names.
She took
by
her
the way,
Rangers and went to the
way
research
earlier.
sector to secure the HRA production.
We found it
hasn't
on a
come
piece of
back.
paper.
Someone who could help us. The other sectors. How do I get there?
It's impossible because of the internal lockdown. You can perform a directorial override to lift it, but that can only be done in the maintenance sector. Normally, you take the sector elevator down there. It connects all the sectors, but it won't work while the lockdown is in effect.
We already got past one lockdown.
Maybe I can find a way.
Jesse, look, with no prep, no training, in this extreme situation, you are doing phenomenally well. And all that and the hiss can't seem to affect you. I mean, I would love to run some tests on you. If you agree, that is. We could find out something that would help us.
Tests? I don't know. She might find out about you.
Do we really need this
But
internal
I wouldn't mind
dialogue?
understanding more myself.
Okay. If you think it will help.
Great. I'll check the internal documentation for any lockdown bypasses. We need to get these sectors open to locate Darling and Marshall.
And I'll look for a way inside the maintenance sector. The sooner we find one, the sooner I reach this override.
Seeing as they made a big deal to show the janitor at the beginning of the game, and that now we have yet to see him again for several hours later, I suspect that this character, who they made a big deal about, also is gonna play a bigger role. There's the janitor again. So I guess in the Department of Maintenance, he might be a bigger issue. I wouldn't be surprised if the blonde-haired lady is controlling the hiss or working with the hiss completely. You've been relying on literally just talking to her when there were several other humans in the room just outside of the boardroom that we've not even shared a single word with. So it would make a lot of sense, since you don't really know what's going on, to interview people separately and see if the stories are the same. Upgrade and unlock new abilities at the nearest control points. So board countermeasures are now available from the nearest control points. Weapon forms and mods can now be crafted from the nearest control points. So up until this point, where it's been 3, maybe even 4 hours of gameplay, we've just been kind of in tutorial mode. Let's see.
Hi, Jesse.
Yeah, Pope. I wouldn't be surprised if she has nothing new to say. Okay, that makes that easy.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
It would also be helpful if they weren't giving everybody a first name. Like, we don't need to know her name is Emily Pope. We could have just said Pope, Director Pope.
Do you hear
It
that?
would have been
Someone's
easy.
singing. Where's it coming from?
Is she gonna respond to that? No, apparently not.
Singing. Sounds like it's coming from the elevator.
Which way is the elevator?
They say the new director can launch objects up to 20 feet.
Bullshit. We've never recorded any distance over 5.
Obviously, you never read the P6 data.
So yeah, I'd interview these people. I'd say, hey, why don't you come in the boardroom and tell me what's going on and tell me what you think of your boss, so I can get some more information and make sure I can actually trust her. Alright, so we have abilities. Health, which seems like we have 4 ability upgrades out of nowhere. Energy, melee, which we probably would never do, and launch damage, which might be helpful. So let's do launch damage 1. You have to hold A. Alright, launch damage 2, which would do a lot more damage. Let's see where we're gonna go with this. 10% more health. Yeah. Alright, so launch 2. Now we have an additional weapon form slot. Nice. This is just video games going on right here. No explanation on how we're getting these abilities or anything. For 2 more upgrade points, we could get 50% more launch damage, or for 2 points we could shoot grenades and rockets back, which I think will become a factor eventually. Energy will be a factor too if we're going to continue down the launch, and health will be an issue. I don't know how this whole thing works. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It seems that health is just going to go straight down this way. Energy is just going to go straight down this way, and melee is going to go down this way. And then there will be 1, 2, 3 new abilities on top of launch that will have some other element to them. Let's see. We still don't have any new outfits. I bet we never get any new outfits for anything else. We have astral constructs and mods. So let's see. We can construct a shatterer if we had 5,000 energy. Shatter is has high stopping power with the scatter shot that devastates grouped enemies at close range. So it's a shotgun ability. And I don't have enough where I could construct, let's see, a random weapon mod common, or a random weapon mod common, or a random weapon mod common. It feels like they were going to put some kind of microtransactions or loot boxes in this game, and that's really not surprising, because that's what they try to do with everything. To upgrade, I would need more points. So I can't really do anything with those. Let's look at the board countermeasures. Kill enemies without dying. You're needed. Irreplaceable. Replaceable. Agreed. Seems like if they're saying 2 or 3 things at the same time, there might be 2 or 3 members of the board. Kill a minor threat. Stronger than before. Killing enemies using melee. Kill enemies with service weapons. Accept. Can we accept all of these? Then why would we not just accept them all? Seems like you can only have 3 at a time.
I heard the Hiss attack the power plant. Brings up.
So now we're playing a little bit of menu hero. Let's see. Damage after a kill. Yeah, I don't think I want my reload speed reduced, though. I think I need that. And I can't do anything else with a gun. And personal mods, we can deconstruct that for 50. We can, let's see, health recovery by 16%, energy boosts. And it seems like I still don't have 2 slots as far as personal mods. Nor a second gun, so I need to craft a shatterer pretty quickly. And finding all of these collectibles is apparently something we want to do. And we're going to, whether we like it or not, run into a lot of these things that will maybe tell us the story if we actually read it. But since I'm not really going to do that, it's not going to matter too much. Again, just pause now if you want to read any of this. Frankly, there's probably going to be a Wikipedia that you could read pretty quickly to read all of this. And even if there wasn't a Wikipedia, give it enough time, there will be a 100% collectibles save file out there where you could just load that save file and reload on everything else. The coming storm. So we've got more of these cutscenes. We didn't have the hotline as an option before. Well, it's another hour, and basically it's another episode of Control. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.